Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Online Journal Day 128, So the Drama. So, first off, my wife did something she rarely ever did, which is see a problem and seek to figure out what is wrong and do something. Which is surprising. Amy has always kind of been the type of person who lets everything come to her. She is always waiting for someone to tell her what she's supposed to be doing. She'll apologize, she'll be sorry, or whatever, but there's never any actions made on her part unless she's told specifically to do something. I think it's the personality trait I hate the most in people. A lot of the people I know, or have had this trait. Like they're willing to do something, they're just not willing to come to the decision to do something without prompting. This time, to my surprise, she did something. Apparently she called Nicole, one of the people on the team that's been with us from the start, to ask what was wrong. I don't know the full conversation, but what I was told has infuriated me. So, a co-worker, one of the few I do not like, let's call him Toma, has a lot of the team convinced I have some kind of feelings for Dawn, and my anger is over jealousy. I don't see how anyone else can think this, but I do know why Toma thinks I do. When he first started, he had slept with two of the team members, one former member named Angie, and Nicole, and was working on Dawn, who at the time was engaged to Kurt. I took him aside and in no uncertain terms told him to keep it in his pants and that Dawn was spoken for and all his flirting and whoring around the office was not healthy. Him dropping her to ducking with Nicole is one of the reasons Angie left the team, and I wasn't about to have that shit in the office. I was really adamant about what they do in their free time not being my concern, but it not bleeding into the office or hurting the team. But I was frank with my assertion that Dawn was off limits. She was engaged, I was mentoring her, she was my friend, and I didn't want her falling into the trap with this smooth-talking douchebag who is a real asshole. Anyway, Nicole never knew why douchebag stopped duckinging with her, though she knew about Angie. She didn't know he was duckinging Angie and her at the same time. That was my bad, but I didn't want to further any drama. But after that, douchebag stopped duckinging around with folks on the team to my knowledge. I never knew Nicole had always felt raw about it, but she later came to learn that he was a horn dog. Either way, he convinced her, using their shared experience, and then she convinced the team that the project was too big and that the cheating was none of our business. All because she let this asshole convince her I was jealous, or I always wanted Dawn. I'm not a fan of anyone telling my business, but Nicole has known me for a long time and knows I'm not like that. Amy says she was taken aback that Nicole would even think that, so she begrudgingly told her a version of the truth. She wasn't specific. Just that we were having marital issues because of her own infidelity. That I was struggling with that and we were trying to reconcile, and that I've always seen Dawn as a little sister, and that I'm probably just really disappointed. I know this cause Amy told me, and Nicole called me to apologize, as well as told me that it was Toma who had really started the narrative. That's when I told her the truth about Angie, Dawn, and Toma. She was annoyed I didn't tell her the full story back then, and that she always thought I was just throwing my weight around, but it turns out they were duckinging around a full 6 months after Angie left, and Toma just used that as an excuse when he wanted to drop Nicole. I'd like to say Nicole apologized and all is well. But that's not what happened. I told Nicole that I've worked with her for a long time and I thought she knew me. I asked if anything about me or my actions towards her or anybody else would lead her to believe I would be like that. She said no, and came up with a bunch of excuses, but I really wasn't having that. All around me are people questioning my behavior, my honor, my sensibility. Nicole knew Toma and Angie were talking. She acts like it wasn't nothing, but she knew. I'm having my integrity questioned by liars, betrayers, and cheaters. I asked if she was so willing to forgive Dawn or let her unprofessionalism ride because of her own history. Nicole dated a client about a year after the Toma thing, though no one knew about it till later. It never interfered with anything and there was little drama. So I said maybe she understands Dawn's need for that kind of romance. She got upset and got hung up on me, imply she was a cheater. But I told her blunt that I know she was aware that Toma was still ducking around with Angie, and little Angie was for some reason in love with that asshole. You willing ducking off with him? She tried to say they were just ducking around and not dating, and Toma wasn't her boyfriend. I asked her if she thinks the semantics overshadows the lack of morality, and she shut up. I told her that as far as Dawn was concerned, I would not be re-evaluating her place on the team after the project. For now, I would be switching her off the project she's working on to take my place as art director for this one, as I refuse to work with this client or Dawn. I was frank when I told her that I was considering leaving the team after the summer when we have no more big projects and I won't be looking toward new ones. She said I was overreacting, but I told her I don't think I want to work with the team after figuring out why my concerns were dismissed regarding Dawn and her behavior. She apologized and said that no one wants me to leave the team and everyone loves working with me. Nicole claims everyone just was worried cause I always showed Dawn such favoritism and we were so close. A lot of people thought there was something going on between us, which made me ducking furious. I told her some of us don't find it so easy to cheat. I ended the conversation there, letting her know I won't be coming back to the office for a while and that she is in charge of the project. She said something else, but I hung up. I immediately called Toma and reassigned him to Nicole's project off his personal one. He asked me why and I told him that since I'm apparently seen as unable to make certain decisions for the good of the team in regards to the former project, that I stepped down as art director and replaced myself with Nicole, and will be taking time off, thus he'd have to move to the other project. He was pissed and I told him in no uncertain terms that how he does on this project will reflect what happens in regards to his contract renewal. I told him he's a talented artist, but not a very good team player, which is true, and that his stirring up conflict has finally managed to find the end of my patience. I warned him to keep his head down and do a good job or he won't be back. I know if I leave the team it's an idle threat, but he don't need to know that. Amy wanted to talk to me about it. What happened? What I was feeling. But I couldn't talk to her. I hugged her. Told her I was sorry, but I'm very angry right now and in my feelings. A decision about her is the only one that I definitely need to get right. She said she understood and took my hand. I saw it hurt her when I recoiled, but I eventually held her hand. She says she knows I won't ever trust her again. I won't trust people easy, and that what happened irrevocably damaged me. Amy said that there wasn't a way to apologize enough, or fix it, but she will do what she can do to help me through it, even if that's deciding I would be better off without her in my life. She was crying, but she said she didn't want to be selfish. That she had her chance and her great guy and she ducked it up. She didn't want to keep causing me pain. I asked her if she wanted to call it quits. And to be honest, I think I might have ended it if she would have said something to the effect of she wants to do whatever I want. I don't know why, but I hate that kind of answer. Like it absolves you of thinking for yourself. It wasn't my decision to do anything of the things that got us here. Why is this on me? I wanted for this to never happen. To be respected, to be trusted, for someone to not betray me. Amy said that if it was up to her she would be with me forever. That she loved me and that she can't fathom having done anything to jeopardize that. She said she knows it's selfish and that she should just leave and let me find someone who deserves me, but she believes she can earn her place again, and if she has to take my resentment, anger, and mistrust, it's a small price to pay. I told her she's never going to be happy with me again. I don't know when and where these feelings are going to bubble up. I don't know what random thought or situation will trigger me, and I don't want to spend years punishing her for something she can't make up for. She asked if I was telling her to leave. I told her no, but that I don't think it'll be healthy. Amy thinks it will be healthy. That it will just be hard and that even if she fails, it's worth it to her to try. I told her that more than 90% of the time when someone is forgiven for infidelity they do it again. It may take years, it may take decades, but eventually they do it again. that most of what I read as success stories usually end up with later finding out the guy or girl had been duped. I don't know if I can try knowing how it's gone down for others. She says she understands, but has to believe she isn't like that. That if she didn't believe she could do better, be better, then she couldn't live with herself. She says I certainly deserve somewhere better, and maybe as hard as she tries, she might not be able to be that, and I will eventually leave her. But while she has a chance, she wants to make the most of it. I hugged her and told her that I did love her. I'm just very angry and disappointed and hurt. Amy told me she knew, and we just held each other for a long while. There's more, but that's gotta go in a different post. Can I just say that when most things on the internet make me lose faith in humans and their lack of morality, the way you handle yourself despite the pain you are going through should be commended, and it gives me hope. You stand by your values and act according to them, in a genuine desire for integrity. So many people purport to have the same morals, but their actions say otherwise, so they add self-delusion and compartmentalization into the mix in order to still believe they are still good. I don't know you, but you seem like the very rare person that is actually good. Whatever your path, I hope you find healing, give yourself some grace and find joy again, because you deserve it. Sending you a hug from an internet stranger. Someone's opinion of you only matters to you if you place value on that person. You can't help but want to please your biological family if you grew up with them, unless they actively are so horrible that you cut all ties, just to retain your sanity. Your spouse is the next most important opinion because you chose them, followed by long-term friends and co-workers. Faceless commentators on the interwebs only matter if they hit a nerve somehow. But when everybody just seems out to cut you no slack, you start to question your entire network, and your net worth as a human. For what it is worth, I believe that you are a good person, trying to do the right things, but it is a crappy world that we live in, filled with flawed people. Look to find the best people that you can to surround yourself, and if that means changing jobs, so be it. Let the rest drift away, or they will steal your spirit. It hurts from this end too. Update. I posted here before about my own situation and recently about a situation at work. After a few days of letting things fall where they may, I came to the conclusion that my friend Dawn wasn't going to tell her husband about her infidelity. My situation started back in December of 2020. I'm still dealing with it. I still hurt and ache, and even though I'm trying to reconcile, it's difficult. My situation isn't typical. I don't know if I should abridge my situation, if it even matters, but I will. My wife lost weight, started acting funny, started reading stuff on female empowerment, loving herself and sexuality and all that jazz. Ended up doing sexual videos with her female friend, live streaming for strangers online. The friend is someone we've in the past had included for intimate relations, but this was all hush and behind my back. There was lying, cheating, escalation, gaslighting, and finally the blow up. I discovered she hadn't been frigging anyone, but had been doing private cams and had an unhealthy emotional relationship with one of her fans who was trying to pay her a lot of money to go ducking him. Which apparently was a bridge too far. I don't know, things got discovered and put a stop to before we got there. So to say I have no idea to say to another man whose wife is ducking someone else is an understatement. I don't know if my situation seems less serious to them, or if I can properly empathize. But I introduced Dawn and Kurt. I told Kurt what a wonderful woman Dawn was. Since she wasn't a woman enough to tell him the truth, I had to. I called up Kurt and asked him to meet me at the resort. We often go to this resort in a neighboring city to hang, put up visiting clients, and other things. He asked if it had anything to do with Dawn and if I had fired her. I told him Dawn had not been fired yet, but she certainly did something that made renewing her contract unlikely. He asked me what she did and if I would reconsider. Told me whatever she did that we can work it out, that Dawn was my protege and he couldn't think of anything they couldn't solve. He asked me if she stole from the team, or messed up the project, or was moonlighting. I told her all the design team is free to do freelance work as long as it doesn't interfere with team projects, and that I would talk to him about it at the resort. Gave him the room and all that, and drove out. I had my proof in a manila folder. I brought that and a bottle of Remy Martin Louis XIII. I've had it for a while, cause I don't particularly drink and Kurt is a cognac man. He knew something was wrong the minute he saw the cognac. He asked me what happened, and I said nothing, I just asked him for his phone. He was reluctant to give it to me, but I told him I'd trade it for a glass. I poured him a glass and pushed it over to the other side of the table and told him to unlock his phone. He didn't handed it to me. I called Dawn. She didn't answer at first, so I called again. She sent a text back saying that she can't talk right now, that she was working some stuff out. I texted her saying, "Here with unfettered," he says, "last chance." She called back immediately. I answered the phone and she began to really lay into me, crying and begging. I told her I was going to put her on speakerphone and that she can talk to her husband. Kurt could hear her distressed, but not what she was saying. I told him to take a drink and to drink all of it first. I then poured him another and he began to tear up. Kurt's not a stupid man. What followed was what I expected. At first, she was trickle-truthing him, but I reminded her I was sitting there with a manila folder. That before I went to Kurt I went to the church he was ducking and told him to give me everything or I was shit-canning his project and keeping the assets, because though her contract has nothing against fraternization and the like, his contract has clauses about professionalism in regards to his interactions with the team. He was more than happy to give me everything I asked for because I could keep the assets and he had no legal recourse to keep them or get his money back regarding the project. I basically told her that he gave me everything and she should speak with Kurt knowing that. I took out my phone and texted her just one of the things I had and that changed everything. To say this was the worst thing I have ever witnessed is an understatement. I watched a man dying right in front of me. Fear, disbelief, pain, anguish. Everything. He got as far as asking questions and all that before he couldn't take it anymore and threw his phone across the room. Luckily it hit the wood cabinet and not the wall, it shattered. I said nothing. I simply poured another drink and waited. For a while he stood there crying and I just got up and hugged him. He didn't want to be touched, but I hugged him anyway. I held him like a brother and told him he was going to be okay. That he wasn't alone. He was angry at first, he wanted to leave. I told him he's had 2 big things of the cognac and was about to have a third. I had also taken his keys when I hugged him and told him driving drunk will not help his situation. So then I sat him down and told him everything. And I do mean everything. I told him how I was feeling. What I was going through. I told him what I went through and what he can expect to feel. He was quiet for a long time and then asked me if I thought he should try to work through this. I told him that I didn't know, that it's hard to say. I told him most relationships that get to infidelity do not work. I told him of my own struggles. I told him what my sister said. I talked about Reddit and the experiences I've read. I told him that it's a decision he has to make. He told me he couldn't just stop loving her. I told him that I knew, but that he needs to think about how he wants to live from here on out. I am having an issue with my own situation and my wife didn't ducking anyone, and it still feels on the wrong side of impossible. Dawn completely betrayed his trust. I don't know what to tell him. He asked me how I was dealing with it and I had to be honest, not well. Whenever I think about it too hard I'm hurt, furious, and angry. I told him he's going to need counseling. I also told him about the cheater's handbook. The things she will say. The things he's going to hear. He's pissed that she's had the guy in his house a few times and I don't know how he can handle that. We simply talked until we both passed out. He was gone in the morning, drove out to his father's place in Suffolk. I took the time in the morning to write up my message to the team and inform them I was consider resigning. I've had several other design teams headhunting me, and though I wouldn't have the freedom or control, I would be making more money. I'm thinking it's an option. I don't know. Personally, I think you did the right thing. Kurt needed to know the truth and you gave Dawn plenty of opportunity to come clean with him, but still she refused. Did Dawn really believe that with you and so many other co-workers knowing, the news would not get back to her husband? It is better to know now than a few years down the road, and instead of a single AP, there be a number of APs, as Dawn is unlikely going to stop if there is no repercussion in cheating. Everyone being cheated on would prefer to know earlier rather than later. Dawn is unlikely going to stop if there is no repercussion in cheating. It's such a simple concept, but nearly no one is willing to take that step when they discover. I think you absolutely did the right thing. They may never thank you for it, and you may lose friendships. But that's life. I've lost friendships over infidelity. It's on Dawn and the client, not you. She was warned and could have 1. Not done it in the first place, or 2. Come clean when you told her to. You had evidence ready for him, you blocked her ability to lie and trickle truth, which can be even more devastating. You gave him avenues to deal with his pain and steps to take going forward. Now it's up to him and her. But you've done everything you could, and in a well thought out manner. Thank you. You're an awesome person. Most people don't get handed a playbook of how to handle infidelity. Maybe he listens, maybe not. But damn, you've a ton to help another human being survive their own betrayal trauma and give them the tools to start attacking it. I'm sure it wasn't easy, but it absolutely was the right thing to do, and you followed through with an approach for him to address things rather than the typical here's the news, deal with it approach. Your journey to recovery may not be over, but you sure as hell have come a long way. Often doing the right thing is hard. Good on you. The pain Kurt is experiencing is from Dawn's actions, and he would eventually feel it. You did him the huge service of preventing all the trickle truthing and lies. As far as your own marriage, that is another problem. You did the right thing. It's insulting to you as her mentor and highly disappointing that Dawn could not keep her mind on the job. Your place of employment is not Tinder. You did the right thing. From a fellow person that was cheated on. Thank you for doing the right thing. Before you quit your job, ask Kurt if he wants you to fire Dawn. It's a harsh outcome, but it's an outcome, and it was never going to end any other way. Whether you took action or stayed out of it, the end result would have been the same, and the only thing that would have been saved was time. Your now ex-friend Dawn probably thought that she had gotten away with it and that nothing was going to be done, but now she knows it has consequences she has to face. That's for her and her STBX to sort out. Moving forward, you may have to extricate yourself from this by moving on yourself. You know yourself that things will never be the same with the team, and you never know, it may be to greener pastures. For yourself and your relationship, I have a feeling that this may bring fresh eyes to your own dilemma, and I can see you moving away from your wife as a result of this episode with Kurt and Dawn. Infidelity is the gift that just keeps on giving, and if those who cheat knew of all of the lives that their cheating would affect, chances are they'd never do it. But sadly they never think that far ahead. Look after yourself up and keep on moving forward. What you did was right too, and been with him and not let him alone and share your own experiences and pain to help him makes you a good man. I really hope that you can take also the best decisions for your present life and future, and I wish you all the best. Sorry, English is not my first language. I feel like this is a little more personal to you as well. You basically vetted Dawn, calling her a wonderful woman. Then she turned and stabbed Kurt in the back and basically stabbed you as well. This also seeps into work as well. How can you trust her? If she's willing to shatter Kurt, the one she supposedly loves, and your trust, then what's to stop her from betraying the team? It's kind of why the military has a law against infidelity. Yeah, it's awful, but you did do the right thing. It's one of those things that is not fun, but it needs to be done. Upvote, you did the right thing, in the right way, at the first opportune moment. Lesser men might have stayed out of it altogether, sent an email or a text file, and walked away from that grenade after they pulled the pin and threw it in someone's head. You were fully there when he needed someone to keep his whole world from crushing him, alone. This is what makes you a good man, a better friend, and a brother in the best sense of the word. Anyone who does not get that has their own personal shortcomings to deal with, and those idiots are not worth the dirt on your shoes. Just as someone given the news that they have cancer relates best to someone who has survived the treatments for that disease, and a soldier who has been to war can relate best to other veterans, you were in exactly the right place and time to give him all the support he needed at that moment. Instead of dwelling on your own hell, you used what you learned from it, and lifted someone else up with insight and empathy. I can see no higher calling. First, I read your previous post on Dawn. I don't why, but I felt a lot of pain in your writing. So I looked up your posts. Read every journal you made as unfettered, read every comment you made. You've done a hell of a journey, but compared to Kurt, your situation is far more better than him. Not that I'm saying what your wife did to you is acceptable, but I feel for Kurt more than you currently. His situation just outright overwhelmed your situation. I feel for Kurt. Give him a hug on behalf of me. You did an astounding journey to be a bigger man after what Amy did to you. I started rereading your journals to keep points in mind. How you dealt with things at home with your cousins, uncle and parents, Amy and Mimi. Your sister is far more than anyone can expect. Although this compliment is fairly based on your narration of the incidents. I do really hope Amy and you get accustomed to new normal. When I read your latest journal, I felt that Dawn episode has triggered more than you think. You are second guessing your latest decisions. You are changing your way of thinking. You are distrusting every person in your life, including yourself, like asking Nicole about yourself is a major example. You need to overcome this. Talk to your therapist regarding this in your next session. Coming back to Kurt, what you did is 1000% correct. If the truth would have come out from Dawn, you would lose friendship with Kurt too. Now you only lost Dawn but gained a loyal friend. He will be with you because you stand by him. But you can't guess how future may turn up. You are an upstanding guy. You take peoples into your life and heal with them. That is the greatest quality to have. Hope you have a good progress will be following you. This, thumbs up. I'm glad for the update about your friend, but is it you? I ended up not quite understanding the beginning. Was your wife recording videos online? My wife was doing streams online on another account with her female friend Mimi. That's what I went through. She was also doing sexual things with Mimi on camera, behind my back. Online Journal Day 130, Ducking It, I quit. I brought the team together and announced that I would be stepping down from my position and leaving the team. Oddly enough, some folks were surprised by this, but I explained myself. I told them I built the team from the ground up. 90% of the people on the team were scouted, vetted, and mentored by me. I chose the members of the team not just because of their artistic and creative talent, but because of who I thought they were as people. But I've come to realize in the last year that my judgment on the character of the people around me is severely lacking. There were questions and I answered honestly. Nobody apparently had thought the situation was so serious that I would leave over it, and Thomas ass straight up accused me of abandoning the team over hurt feelings. I told him he can shut the ducking up and that I won't have my integrity questioned by a man who himself has caused chaos on the team by not keeping it in his pants and sleeping with multiple co-workers at the same time. More than Nicole looked a bit ashamed, and I know Thomas at least slept with half the girls here. He's a handsome douchebag. He's the kind of guy girls are always going to be into. Don't at me, bitches are suckers for the Thomas of the world, and half those bitches would fall back over his dick if he showed even a tiny bit of affection and remorse for using him. To be honest, it's a hard trait to respect. Either way, none of that was my business so long as their shit was conducted outside of the office and did not interfere with work. When it did and we lost a talented team member, I had laid the hammer down. which didn't stop some of them from still wanting to ride on that roller coaster. I had Nami tell me that no one wants me to leave the team, and they were just trying to avoid conflict. Giselle wanted to know why the Dawn thing was such a big deal, and why I hadn't been this adamant about shit-canning Toma when Angie left. I was blunt when I said that if I thought it would make Angie come back I would have thrown Toma's ass out the window. He made to say something, but I just gave him a look and told him if I hear anything stupid out of him that I would get unpleasant. He took my meaning and shut the ducking up. Keith decided to try to play on my emotions, saying the team wouldn't survive without me. That I've been the leader for years and no one on the team can do my job on their own. That nobody here could lead or wants to. I again pointed out Nicole. I may have been a bit petulant here, but I pointed out that between Toma and Nicole, the team organized, had a meeting behind my back, decided on a course of action and presented a united front on the decision on the Dawn situation. And since we were talking about Dawn, I pointed out that Toma's spreading of this rumor that I was into Dawn, or favored Dawn more than anyone else I mentored coming in, is laughable. I was close to Dawn cause I knew her from before she joined the team, and the only reason Toma was pushing that narrative was because I wouldn't let him spit his game at her while she was engaged to her husband, and was still having a physical relationship with Nicole and Sherry at the time. Something of which apparently neither Sherry and Nicole never spoke about, because though apparently Sherry knew, and that was why she stopped ducking with Toma, Nicole seemed surprised by this news. I said the team has shown that they certainly have the ability to rally under new leadership, and frankly I don't particularly want to work with a bunch of people who would question my integrity on one hand, while on the other hand all decide to rug sweep what Dawn was doing with a client and to her husband who is a friend and valued associate of the team. Kurt has done the taxes and investments for everybody in that room for years, and you could sit up in that man's face, a man you trust with your financials, your future, and your kids' future, and let that happen to him. Frankly, it's disgusting and disloyal, and if Dawn can betray the man she swore to love forever, and you all could betray a man who has done nothing but help you, what kind of people are you? It was Giselle who spoke next, saying that she was sorry, that she had just thought I was jealous and she had really believed I always had a thing for Dawn. Keith said he didn't believe that, he just went with the flow, and Sherry said she just voted with everyone else cause she didn't want any drama. Toma demanded to know why I reacted the way I did if I wasn't feeling Dawn. Oddly enough, it was Nami who told Toma that not everyone thinks like him. She apologized to me saying that she didn't really believe any of that, it was just Nicole was so convincing, and she also apologized for not talk to me, or insisting I be included in the discussion. I told Toma that in my life I've been in Kurt's shoes. Not just in the past, but in my current marriage. He had a little chuckle, but before I could do anything Nami slapped Toma. When he went to speak again Sherry slapped Toma. I guess it would be prudent at this juncture to point out that Toma is probably the most talented member of the team. The fact that he knows it and that he is handsome and typically well liked before he duckings someone over is something that keeps him around. If some of you think he's someone I wouldn't have had on the team or would have picked up on before joining the team, you're right. Nicole brought him in. He's good at his job, really good. Really professional when he is working. He's just a douche and an ass, and I think he has a cuckolding fetish. As a creator, he's top notch. As a human being, he's a piece of shit. It took Keith to ask the question about Amy. And I just nodded, which surprised everyone. I told them that I've apparently surrounded myself with people of low character and morals. That it is a sign of my own poor judgment in regards to people, and I would be re-evaluating a lot of things coming up. I spent the night working out assignments and how to reshuffle the team to cover the projects. If extra help is needed, Nicole has my list of freelancers who's worked with us before. Either way, it's no longer my concern. Surprisingly, Toma again said I couldn't just abandon the team I built, and pointed out most of the contracts and future projects are with contacts and people who work with the team because of me. He said it's not like those people can't find other talented artists and teams, they work with our team on regular basis because of me. What's to stop me from tanking those contacts when I leave? I told him I have integrity, and that I wasn't planning on leading another team. I also told him that he's talented enough to make more money on any team he wants. Respect where it's due, he's the most talented person on the damn team. He can leave and make money anywhere, he can go solo and make more money. Nobody needs to be on the team. Nobody gonna be hungry or hit, nobody shit gonna fall apart under Nicole. If the team break up, everyone talented enough to catch on somewhere else in a snap. Tomu especially. Toma surprised me by saying that he wanted to be on this team and that meant with me on it. He said something almost like a sincere apology and even admitted he had thought I was feeling Dawn and was just jealous or whatnot, and that he didn't think any of this was a big deal. He then offered to leave the team if it would make me stay on the team. I told him that the team needed him more than it needed me, obviously. Dawn too, and that I've been good about forgiving people who probably should not have been forgiven, and I wasn't sure how much of that I had left in me. I got asked to stay. I got told that they were sorry and that they didn't think it through. I started zoning out when it all started sounding like the Wayward Spouse Handbook. I was almost surprised that no one suggested counseling. Rather than be happy, I was furious. It reminded me too much that people only give a shit after they betray you or ducking you over. Now they want to convince you everything Gucci and you matter. But you didn't while they were sneaking around behind your back. I couldn't finish the conversation. I simply stood up and told them that the team is bigger than one person. I thanked everyone for their time and told them I would be out of contact for a while. I'm back at the resort, I didn't go home and my phone been blowing up. I'm getting messages from the entire team, including Dawn, begging me not to leave the team. The only message I replied to was Kurt saying he needed to talk. He told me he wants to talk to Dawn and doesn't know what to say. I told him to give it time, let the anger subside, then push past the loss you feel for what was, and then approach it with a clear mind. We talked for hours and he was sad that I quit the team. I told him it was probably for the best. For right now, I don't know what my next move is. Man. It's unreal how insidious and prevalent infidelity is, and how it can affect so many areas of our lives and relationships. What a shitty situation. Sorry you're going through this. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.